Welcome to the Cinemagic preview show. On this edition, we'll be reviewing Neasa Hardiman's new sci-fi horror flick, Sea Fever.
You're the scientist, I hear.
I am Jared, the skipper. This is Freya, the real boss.
What is your work while you're on board?
I identify and extrapolate patterns from variations in deep-sea behaviour. I need to photograph your catch.
Yes!
We're on a roll!
Something's wrong.
What is that? How long till they eat through the boat?
That's inside the boat. It went into the water. We're all vulnerable to get infected.
I can't see.
I want you to test all of us.
Those things will spread really fast. We need to quarantine ourselves.
We're making port tonight.
But you don't understand.
You're not hear me! We're sinking.
What do our young Cinemagic reviewers think?
My name is Sophie and this is the Cinemagic preview show. My review is on Sea Fever, which is Neasa Hardiman's latest feature. The story follows Siobhan, a reclusive marine biology student who must go aboard a fishing trawler off the coast of Ireland in order to complete her studies. Initially, her reclusive nature puts her at odds with the rest of the fishing crew. However, when the ship runs into some trouble at sea and the crew find themselves stranded, they almost work together in order to make it back to shore alive. The film is situated within the horror and sci-fi genre, which means it is aimed at a more adult audience. I think people that would like this film the most are those that are fans of classic sci-fi horror films such as Alien and The Thing. One of my favourite elements to the film was the narrative and all of the twists and turns that came with it. Initially, I thought the film was going to be quite predictable, so I was really pleasantly surprised when my expectations were subverted at every opportunity. I think also the cinematography was a really interesting element. Filming within the confines of such a small space like a boat, with rarely any exterior shots, really helped to capture that cabin fever-esque feeling that they were meant to feel, and I think this translated really well onto the screen, and then it had that effect on the audience as well. Although I did really enjoy the gritty realism of the colour palette, I think when it was in contrast to the special effects of the sea creature, I don't think it worked particularly well. With the sea creature being so brightly presented and bold, it made it look really out of place. However, I can understand why that they wanted to use this kind of colour for it, was to highlight the kind of mythical theme of the whole film, as well as Siobhan's role in the overall film. Another element which was a bit of an issue was the use of the non-Irish cast. Although their performances were all really incredible, their accents did sometimes tend to go slightly awry, especially during really dramatic intense sequences, which kind of detracted away from the main aim of that sequence, which was a bit of a shame. Although I did really enjoy the overall film and I thought it was a really great piece and experience, there were some critiques to it, so for that I'm going to give this film 4 out of 5 stars.
Hi, I'm Cara McKernon. Today I'm with Cinemagic reviewing Neasa Hardiman's new feature film, Sea Fever. I absolutely adored this film. One thing that I absolutely adored was probably the cinematography. The cinematography really honed in on the atmosphere of being absolutely alone at sea, even though there's people around you. And something that really struck home for me as well was probably the relationship on screen from Hermione Cornfield and Connie Nielsen. Connie Nielsen was more of a mother figure in the film, of someone that was steering the ship and more like of a captain, while Siobhan was a student that came on to do sort of work experience. and their relationship was very good to watch on screen, and their chemistry was absolutely amazing. Another thing that I adored about this film was probably the directing from Neasa Hardiman. It was absolutely amazing, but however, on a downside for me would probably be that she probably should have spent more time focused on character development, because I didn't feel attached to these characters that much. The only people that I felt attached to was probably Siobhan, because she was the main protagonist in the whole film. But Neasa done an absolutely amazing job. I don't think that film could have been what it was without her, because of her style and her input throughout the whole film was absolutely amazing. This film will have to be a 15 and up for me because of some of the horror elements into it, and also thriller elements, because there is gore and there is violence as well in some scenes. I would give Sea Fever a 3 out of 5 because I still think there is room for improvement.
Hi, my name is Jack Carberry. The range of locations used in this film is really eye-opening, and it's really interesting. Starting in a lab, then being on the harbours, on deck, and then actually getting to see underwater and stuff. It's really clever, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I really liked the idea how it wasn't just all on land. We actually got to, as the audience, we got to go underwater with Siobhan and see her discoveries. So as she's discovering these animals, we too are discovering them. Personally, for me, a negative of this film was how slow the beginning is. It is a slow burning film. It does take quite a while to get into it and to find what's really going to happen. But I really find that allowed it to excel the film on and to create loads of drama and atmosphere for the audience. The target audience for this film is more mature teens into early adults, as it's quite a graphic film and it covers some very serious themes. I would rate this film a 4 out of 5, simply just due to the slow burning beginning. However, the film as a whole was really entertaining, and I would highly recommend anyone going and seeing Sea Fever.
Our industry corner guest this week is broadcaster and film critic Anna Smith.
Hi there, my name's Anna Smith. I'm a film critic and broadcaster and host of the podcast Girls on Film, which I hope some of you might be listening to. You can see me on TV, on Sky News, on BBC News, ITV News. When there's a big film story, I tend to get called in as a film pundit, which is a really nice addition to being a writer for lots of different magazines. My first big break was really when I went freelance after working in magazines on staff, and I started writing for Time Out and Empire. So I got noticed by Sight and Sound, and then I ended up becoming the president of the Critics Circle, which was a real moment for me. I also was the first chair of the Critics Circle film section in over 40 years who was female, and only the second female ever. So I guess I'm pretty proud of breaking new ground as a female film critic. Talking of which, that is one of the reasons I launched Girls on Film. There aren't enough female film critics, and those who are out there don't get to go on TV and radio enough. So myself and my producer Heather Archbold decided to do a podcast with other brilliant female film critics and talking to female filmmakers from all around the world, and it's gone fantastically well. We've travelled the world with the podcast going on stage, and of course we came to Cinemagic in Belfast and saw some of you there, which was absolutely brilliant. Had a great time. Now, in terms of my favourite films directed by women, that's always a tough one, but I would start with Jane Campion's classic period drama, The Piano. And then a sort of related film in tone is Celine Sciamma's Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is absolutely phenomenal film. It's currently on Mubi, and you can get a free 3-month subscription to Mubi with Girls on Film at the moment. That's well worth doing. They curate some fantastic films. A lot of them are by women. I really also like Deborah Granick's hidden gem, Leave No Trace. And you may have seen Booksmart. If not, this is great isolation viewing for you. Olivia Wilde's heartwarming comedy. I really would recommend Booksmart for you. For young film critics and potential broadcasters at home looking for ways to practice and tips and advice, I would say just watch as many films as you can. You've got the time, hopefully, at the moment to do that. Also, read your favourite film critics. Perhaps go outside the obvious ones, really have a look around, look on Rotten Tomatoes and look at people whose style you admire and try to analyse what makes their style work. Analyse what makes film work, of course, so that should be a no-brainer. But also I recommend talking to your friends and family, whether you're chatting to them on WhatsApp or Zoom or in the house, and asking them what they love about films. Because being a great film critic isn't just about saying what you think, it's about thinking about what other people love and getting to grips with how a film works and whether it succeeds in what it sets out to do. You know, I find myself writing about genres that I don't necessarily love that much, but it is very helpful for me to be able to assess whether it works for its target market. So yeah, just keep watching, keep writing, keep tweeting, get in touch with me if you want to. I'm all ears, love to hear more about the podcast and what you're up to, and have a great time, and I hope to see you back at Cinemagic soon. Bye. Hello, this is Anna Smith. I'm a film critic and broadcaster, and this is the Cinemagic Preview Show.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.